the arc.
Duke has lost so many close games in the last year and a half, but the other night they won their first ACC game this year. One of the reasons it changed by Mike Krzyzewski.
He's made a subtle change, Mike, in that he wants to try to get his team out in transition a little more so they don't have to face half-court defenses. We'll see a slight example of that here, although the clock dictated that they get a quick shot, and they finally get a break. This game was almost one of many that they've lost in the last seconds, but finally they get a break, and maybe they're confident enough now to run off 2 or 3 in a row.
Florida State fighting to get back above 500 in the ACC. Duke going for its second straight win in the conference. Back in a moment. Well, this is the lineup for Florida State and Duke. Let's take a look at the lineups for the Seminoles. 10-4 under Coach Pat Kennedy. Corey Lewis has yet to live up to his great potential, averaging less than 10 points a game, shooting only 42%. For the Blue Devils, 10-6 under Coach K. Ricky Price can have a big impact on the future of this team. They need his defense and his scoring from the wing. They're already on their feet and bouncing at Cameron. You gotta love it.
Oh, man. It's something to be a college student, isn't it? I don't know if I'd have the energy to do what they're doing now.
You did.
At one time.
Florida State controls the opening tap quickly, leads 2-0 as Collins gets the easy deuce.
Now this guy can explode. Excellent going to the goal and can also shoot it from behind the line. Duke has to contain it.
Price out on the wing. He's a good slasher. Collins, the hero of the NC State game. This is Capel. Driving on Collins, pull-up jumper. Offensive rebound, and Newton got the ball. Greg Newton had a stretch of 8 games where he shot 80% from the floor. He's still number 2 in the ACC in field goal percentage, nearly 66%.
And one way you keep your percentage high is by getting shots inside.
Offensive foul on Collins, and Carmen Wallace gets his second straight night. Clark, I think this kid is also a key for Duke.
He really is. Athletically, he's tremendous. He can get up and down the floor. There, he showed you good footwork and anticipation in taking the charge.
Dish to Newton, missed the lay in that time, and here come the Seminoles. They want to push it. Greer wheels into the lane, got caught under the basket. Good defense as Capel and Collins collapsed on him. Collins quickly back the other way. Tries to get it low and throws it away again. Curry.
This guy has struggled with his stroke. Had a good game the other night. Made 7 of 12. And he loves to see himself knock down this first shot from behind the arc now.
They'd love to have him break out of it. Shot only 33% from the floor all year long. Price tries to drive, wrapped up inside. Luckman got a piece of it. Here come the Seminoles, 4-on-3. Curry again tries to dish off. Offensive foul on Curry, and Collins was right there again.
Duke showing you pretty good defense here on a couple of possessions, anticipating the drives as you look at Curry. Coach K now, probably one of his more challenging jobs, trying to figure out how best this team can play based on the parts they have. They're not as talented as they've been in the past, and they're also a lot younger than they've been in the past, really lacking a true go-to guy.
Well, he admitted the part about the talent level to me the other night. He said we just don't have enough players. Right. Period. Newton hits a runner. Of course, they lost one guy to academics, had another transfer, another injured. So the talent pool isn't as deep as it normally has been at Duke. But you know one thing about Mike Krzyzewski, he'll be back with it. Here's a hold away from the ball on Price. First team foul against Duke.
And the point you make is an excellent point. The very good coaches, and any coach that's coached for any length of time is going to have a period where they hit some speed bumps. Sure. It's inevitable. But the good ones are able to use those times to grow as coaches and to continue to be successful in teaching their players the game.
Nice dish inside to Lewis, but he's hacked as he goes up. Mike Krzyzewski also said something I found very interesting. He said, we need to accept who we are. And sometimes after you've had the success that he has, it's very difficult to say, you know, this team isn't as talented as the other.
That's a great point, Mike. That's a lesson for not only basketball, but for all of life. You got to deal with what you have and who you are.
Yeah, I figured out a while ago I wasn't going to high jump 7 feet. 5-4 Seminoles. First free throw won't go.
Be interesting to see if Florida State maybe goes with their 3 big guys. We see Lewis and Luckman out there now, and then Randall Jackson, the outstanding freshman, because they have an obvious advantage, I think, up front, and they'll look to exploit that maybe with the 3 big guys out on the floor at the same time.
Almost all of Corey Lewis's numbers are down from a year ago when he was the highly prized freshman recruit. Another bad pass. Price picks it off, though, and has the 3-shot in the lane. Missed it. Rebounds to Collins. Against 20. Collins with a pull-up jumper, can't hit it. Kept it alive, and Corey Lewis traveled. Yeah, you watch James Collins play. He averaged 42 points in junior high school. Held a press conference when he was in junior high school to announce where he was going to go to high school.
Oh, that's unreal. Yeah, I read that too. That's amazing as you look at the turnover story. That number always one of the games within the games we look at in terms of who's going to come out on top. But in this game, I think rebounding is going to be a big story for Duke.
Duke trying to penetrate. Now Newton arguing the call, and I think Frank Scagliotta is going to come over and change it as he had a better angle and a nice piece of officiating there to work together. And Mike Krzyzewski was just ready to blow his top when he found out there was no reason, so that'll light up Pat Kennedy for a while.
I think he was on Newton just to pass the ball aggressively.
Wallace caught at the baseline. Florida State showing some quickness on defense. Price leans into one, split a double team, and draws a foul.
One of the things you notice here early with Duke, and this probably plays on what we talked about in the open, is that they're trying to spread the floor a lot more. They're pretty much a perimeter-oriented team, and guys like Price and Capel are much better when the lane is open and there's good spacing, so they have chances to penetrate and create for themselves or penetrate and then pitch to a teammate.
Ricky Price made a statement early when he made the all-tournament team in the Great Alaska Shootout, where Duke had so much success, and I think fooled people into believing they were back as a top 10 team.
Yeah, well, that happened with a lot of teams in November and December. And then you get to conference play, and it changes.
Collins with a loose ball. Price wants the alley-oop instead. Collins for 3. 9-6 Blue Devils. Collins has been shooting very well from outside. And the fans are right there. James Collins, the other one.
Good matchup, Ricky Price on James Collins.
This is Avery Curry, picked up his dribble. Bad pass, but saved by Greer. Oh, nice dish, and Randall Jackson, the freshman, with the big slam. This kid is a top 25 recruit.
Good job defensively by Duke. Actually, Collins just loses it. But what we want to make note of here is the quick look. That's how you capitalize on turnovers, and one of the best times to shoot the 3 is in transition. And Newton, you just got posterized. Randall Jackson, watch out.
He's out of Boston, Massachusetts. Missed 3 games because of a concussion, and then he was in an automobile accident, but he's back now. The stress reaction from a knee injury he had. Those are his numbers last year. Good outside shooter. One of the only players that you've ever heard of coming out of Alaska to a major college. He will redshirt and be back next year. Of course, what they really needed was somebody who's 6'9", around 250.
Yeah, most programs can use it.
Yeah, and Trajan didn't quite fit that bill. Here's the double team on Wallace, trying to dribble travel.
Nice job there by Florida State at the shoot-around this afternoon. Pat Kennedy really on his team about coming out and being very aggressive at both ends of the floor. Sometimes that's more easier said than done. But so far, they've been quite aggressive.
He'd love to win one here at Cameron Indoor Stadium. He never has. 0-5. Nice steal by Wallace. Capel for three. Follow won't go. Wallace did a nice job at keeping it alive. Collins to Price. Now they'll reset the offense.
Look at the spacing here, folks. This is what creates penetration lane.
Luckman came over on the double team, and Wallace couldn't do anything with it. Now Collins with a pick. He'll try a three. 2 for 2. Chris Collins, one of the emotional players around this league, has hit 2 big threes. Luckman to Greer foul on the way, and that'll go against Price. That'll be 2 on Ricky Price.
Kirk Luckman does a good job defensively, but young fella, throw it to your man, not to a spot. Make sure you're throwing it to a teammate. Collins, after they leave him, decides he wants to bury the three and does.
Steve Wojciechowski checks in for the first time, and Corey Lewis comes back in for Florida State. Haven't mentioned Luckman very much for the Seminoles. According to Tim Duncan, the most improved player in the entire country.
He stumbled a little bit the last couple of games, only 4 points, and had a game against NC State. He was 0 of 7, but on the course of the year has really improved his numbers. Double-digit scoring and about 7 or 8 boards a game.
Scott Shepard is number 5. He'll come off the bench to run the club along with Curry, number 11 in the backcourt. Jumper out of the corner by Collins. It's a three. Shooting nearly 41% from three-point range. We're tied at 12. Collins has 6.
That's about what he shoots on his career, too.
Yeah.
Behind the arc. Florida State's been all man-to-man. Duke has been man with that last possession being a zone on the out-of-bounds.
Taman Domzowski is in for Duke. Collins kicks this one off his knee and knocks it out of bounds.
Here you take a look at James Collins. Now he's going to go all the way to the strong side now. Nobody knows. They pointed at him, but nobody got to him. See, a lack of communication there defensively, and Collins with the catch and fire.
Wojciechowski against Shepard beats him across the timeline. Tied at a dozen. 13:49 to go first half. Mike Patrick and Clark Kellogg, glad you could join us tonight from Durham.
No, don't do that, young fella. Don't come in and dunk on a guy first and then go out to about 17 feet and hit nothing but rope.
Randall Jackson with 4. He's averaging nearly 10 points a game off the bench. A huge recruit for Pat Kennedy's program. Capel double clutch, missed it. Domzowski couldn't get the tip. Shepard pushes it to Curry. Pull up over Collins. They've got some quickness on this club, Clark.
Yeah, they do. They've got good athleticism. You talk to some of the coaches in the conference, and they won't hesitate to say Florida State is maybe the most talented team just from an athletic standpoint and a potential standpoint in the league.
Wojciechowski, nice pass inside to Domzowski, who gets the slam. Good entry. That stopped a 7-0 Seminole run. Curry leans into one. Didn't get the roll, but Jackson is right there for his 3rd bucket. Oh, he looks pretty good. Gee, 7 points.
I say he looks pretty good.
How long are you going to be able to keep him out of the starting line? Capel with a left hand. First 2 for Jeff Capel, who leads this team with 16.6 a game. Lewis backdoor to Collins, and he just lost Capel.
Pat Kennedy talked an awful lot about that at the shoot-around today because Duke wants to overplay you. If you're strong with the ball and you've got eye contact with your teammates, the back door is available an awful lot.
Here's another steal. Curry 2-on-1. Good foul by Capel, but they get the bucket anyway. What a nice play by the Seminoles. And Collins gets the bucket and draws the foul.
Scorers score, Mike. Somehow, some way, guys like Collins find a way to get the orange in the hole. Like you said, good foul by Capel, but a better play by James Collins. And right now, I think Duke is maybe looking for dessert before dinner in their offense, Mike. They're shooting just a touch too quickly. They're not moving the ball quite enough to take advantage of the spacing they're showing in their half-court offense.
Collins trying for the three-point play, misses the free throw. This is Florida State's biggest lead at 22-16.
Free throw shooting might be their biggest Achilles heel.
What do we have there?
James Collins, now I love your game, but young fella, you've got to come stronger at that free throw line. A scorer like you got to get over 70% of those down. And it's just a matter of repetition and work.
The question may have been, did it actually hit the rim? If it didn't, it would have been a violation.
Maybe the horn just blew on its own.
Duke had possession of the basketball.
We're going to take a TV now.
We'll check it out when we come back. 11:36 to go in the half. The Seminoles by half a dozen. Oklahoma will go to Kansas to take on Jacques Vaughn and company at 9:30, and then at midnight from Pan American Center, Long Beach State and New Mexico State. That's Big Monday. Hope you'll join us for that. And we've got a good one going here with the shooting. Florida State hitting 75% early.
And I always say shooting a function of shot selection, your shooting percentage. And again, Duke has been a little hurried in their offense, and they've been a little careless with the orange as well.
Collins made his first two, missed this one badly. James Collins with another rebound. Shepard stays in at the point. Trying to get by Wojciechowski.
Duke really pressuring the basketball.
So it's always keyed their offense is their defense. Lewis, turnaround jumper, rims it. Luckman, offensive rebound. Kirk Luckman averaging 11.7 rebounds a game. Really changed his body over the summer. Lost 10% body fat and went to work hard on the weights. Biggest lead, 8 points. And here come the Seminoles again.
There's no real ball movement there, Mike, and then a quick shot.
Tough pass to handle as Jeff Brower, number 41, tries the low bounce pass on the break, and it's out of bounds. 7 turnovers against FSU. Duke has committed only 4, but the Seminoles lead by 8.
And I think they're plus 3 in points off those turnovers, Mike, is Florida State. So that's part of their lead.
Running a little weave on the outside. Collins has a good dish, but Domzowski was going the other way. Last touch by the Seminoles.
Right idea.
See Tommy Amaker down alongside Mike Krzyzewski on the Blue Devil bench.
Got 2 of his former standout players on the bench, Quinn Snyder as well.
Domzowski fouled by Corey Lewis. That's his first. And Domzowski did what he was supposed to do, took it strong to the hole. Bob Bender, another assistant sitting there.
This is something Duke hasn't gotten enough of. Penetration and then a find inside. Domzowski able to go strong to the rack and draw the foul. And because they haven't gotten much penetration and not many looks inside, they don't get to that free throw line very much at all.
And particularly Domzowski, the guy is an exceptional free throw shooter. He's now made 23 of 27 on the year, over 85%. He just doesn't shoot that many.
Exactly. And that's the case for the team.
Newton will come in as Domzowski hits the free throw to cut the lead back to 6. And Wojo, a little full court pressure, nearly got it away from Greer, who has struggled at times running the team.
Well, he's a big point guard, Mike.
Yes, he is.
He's about 6'5", 210, 215, and he doesn't have the quickness that a lot of point guards he faces have. So that puts him at a little bit of a disadvantage. But he is a good passer, and his size allows him to see over the defense.
Wojciechowski picked up the foul. His dad was a pretty good player. Al Greer. There's Doug Collins has got the jeans on the other side for the Blue Devils. Wojciechowski for 3. And Newton, yes, Newton over the back. So Newton picks up his second. And the Blue Devils just seem to be slightly out of sync. They're very close to making this offense work.
Exactly.
But just close.
Yeah. And see, you go through an adjustment period when you make changes in your offensive scheme, and it just doesn't happen overnight. You have to continue to work on when is a good shot, who should we be getting shots in certain portions of the game, and that just takes a little time.
Of course, the one thing the Blue Devils still lead the ACC in is vowels. With Domzowski, Wojciechowski, and Krzyzewski, nobody is even close. I think Mike does that on purpose. 1 out of 2 at the line so far. Now 2 out of 3 is Corey Lewis. McDonald's All-American.
Now, you know, we talk about how young Tim Duncan is, won't be 20 until the end of the season. Well, Corey Lewis is only 18. He won't be 19 until next month, and that's really quite young for a sophomore. So when you talk about his development and his potential, I mean, I think the sky's the limit. This is a guy that's going to continue to develop. And from talking to people around the Florida State program, he doesn't shy away from going into that weight room.
And he missed a full year of high school ball because of an injury, so that set him back a little bit. The miss, the offensive follow by Newton, and he's clobbered over the back. Good hustle to get the rebound.
Seminole foul number 23, James Collins, his second personal foul.
See, Newton able to run around unmolested in here. Nobody gets a body on him.
Greg Newton.
And there he is inside against Collins.
2 shots.
That's an easy one for Newton, and Collins picks up the foul.
Foul on Collins is his second. 15 foul against the Seminoles. Newton is 60% free throw shooter.
Interesting numbers there. As you see, he's shot extremely well against non-conference people, has struggled in the conference. And, you know, I kind of equate conference play to trying to pull over something on your family, because the people in the conference know your tendencies and they take away your strength. So you can't snowball people in the conference. You can sneak up on folks outside of the conference. They don't know you quite as well.
Said like a man who may have tried it once.
I didn't think you'd come back at me like that, Mike. But yes, I do speak from experience.
Offensive foul that time on Corey Lewis. That was his second, 16 foul. Duke with the basketball, down by 7. Jackson's back in. Here's the turnover story. Duke threw it away a lot early, but since then they protected the ball a little bit better. Without those 9 turnovers, the Seminoles could have built a very big lead here. Collins can't get him to buy the head fake. That leaves Capel open for 3. Newton, offensive rebound, but he lost it. Newton's another one of those kids who really worked hard to make himself a good player. There were people around here who didn't think he would ever be able to contribute to this program after the great centers they've had at Duke, but he's done it. Luckman with a quick turnaround jump shot. No good. Price, Capel saved it. Then Price got a hand on it. It's out. Last touch by Florida State to the Blue Devils.
Take a look at what Duke has done. They've attempted as many three-point shots as they have free throws, and that's not a good ratio, folks. What it points to is a lack of an inside game, and when you have to live with the jump shot, it can be tough to win.
Wallace with a miss, then goes after his own rebound and can't get it. Seminoles have done a good job of double-teaming anybody that gets into the lane. Curry with a pull-up jumper, Newton with a rebound. He has 3 on the game. Collins trying to penetrate, and he's fouled. Now this is the guy you want to go to the free throw line. As Avery Curry picks up his second.
I mean, you look at Duke's numbers as a team in the conference, they're like 78% as a team from the stripe, but the volume just isn't there.
And during the glory days, which are only a year and a half removed, really, they just destroyed people with their free throw shooting. Just go to the line time after time. One of those stats where they made more than the other team even attempted. And then Collins misses the first of 2. He's a 74% free throw shooter on the year.
Yeah, I talked to him before the game, and he feels confident that the way they're trying to play is best for this team, and they just need to put together another win or two to maybe get themselves over the hump from a confidence standpoint.
Approaching the 8-minute mark in the first half, 6-point lead. Greer working on Collins. Here's Jackson, who's been so tough. Air ball on that one. Newton got a hand on it. Nice hustle by Price to save it. Collins made his first two. He's missed his last two from long range.
Yeah, I think he had Newton in the post there.
James Collins cross court to Curry for three. Newton ran at him. May have altered the shot.
You know, one other thing to watch for with this type of style that Duke's employing, they're not a very deep team.
Right.
And sometimes what happens, and Chris mentioned this to me, Chris Collins did, they get a little fatigue and it affects their shot.
There's Price. The lead is cut to 4. Maybe that's one reason Mike Krzyzewski went to the bench early tonight and got some guys in there for a couple of minutes.
Right.
Nice first step by James Collins to get open, but he misses. Here's Luckman against Newton. And Newton blocked the shot. A late whistle. Let's see who picks up the foul. Oh, it's going to be Newton, and that was a late call. He picks up his third. Mike Krzyzewski doesn't like it at all.
Well, it certainly was delayed.
Whistle doesn't blow about right there.
Right, that's exactly when
you could see him react to it.
There was minor contact there, and in most cases you would think that's not called, and that's really a big one because it's Newton's third.
Well, it brings up your point that they are not deep, and here's Mike Krzyzewski arguing that case. So Domzowski, the 6'10 freshman out of Lovington, New Mexico, will come in and have to play the pivot as Luckman hits the free throw.
And you talked about Luckman earlier in terms of changing his body and leaning up. He spent some time with Mark Ivaroni, too, working on his big man moves, and that's helped him as well.
28-22, Seminoles with 7 minutes left in the half. Thank you, Michael. It's a 6-point lead here for Florida State over Duke with 7 points. Somehow Gene Cady always finds a way to get it done, and you'd swear he doesn't have enough talent to compete with the top half of the conference, and yet here he is again.
They are doing a tremendous job, and Cady has been tremendous since he's been at Purdue. I mean, they've won the last 2 Big Ten titles, and they've got the most quality experience in that league, Mike. They play together. He's deep. He's got size. They're definitely one of the top teams in that. It'll be either them or Michigan, I think, that wins the Big Ten.
And our thoughts go out to him and his family. He has really gone through a terrible couple of weeks here with that personal problem. Price with a jumper, missed it. Loose ball. Wallace, good hustle. Still no whistle. Duke comes out with it. Capel for 3. Now that's 3 out of 9. They'd hit only 2 of their first 8, but that's the shot that has changed college basketball. Cut the lead in half.
What you like about that is the effort, and that's what Coach K is applauding right there. The end result was tremendous, but the effort to get to that point is what Coach K needs to see more of.
Here's a 20-second timeout. Florida State has hit only 1 of its last 7 shots after starting 9 out of 12. Coming up next Saturday, North Carolina State will visit number 19 Clemson. That's a game from Littlejohn. Then on ESPN2 at 1:30, Florida State and Georgia Tech from the new Alexander Memorial Coliseum. Tech looking very, very good. And then number 6 Wake Forest goes to number 10 North Carolina from the Smith Center. Antoine Jamison and Tim Duncan.
Great work here by Duke, staying after it. Persistence pays. Wallace on the deck. Scraps and digs it out of there. Price, ball reversal. Pull up 3. That's good basketball, folks.
Crowd on its feet. Curry dumps it to Luckman. He walks. That's a tough pass to give a big man when you actually just hand it to him.
Yeah, that is. Not like football. You can't be giving it to a fullback. You need a little space between the passes.
10th turnover for the Seminoles. That's kept Duke in this game. Wallace. Duke trying to be very patient on offense. The shot clock down to 13.
And look how they keep that middle open.
Crowd helping out with the shot clock. missed the shot, and the rebound goes to Greer. He wants to push it. James Collins, he's gone cold. Luckman with a follow. Well, the last 3 years, Luckman would have never gotten that rebound and never made the shot.
Well, you get yourself in better shape and you get some confidence, good things can happen. And I think those are the two main things that have improved Luckman's play.
Has 6 points and 6 rebounds tonight. Pretty good first half. Domzowski tried to turn on him and lost it. Here's the 3-on-1. And they blow it.
Yeah, Greer's got to make a simpler pass. He tried to backhand a one-handed pass, and in that situation, keep it simple.
Greer's assist-to-turnover ratio is less than 2-to-1, which is what you'd like from an outstanding point guard. Here's a whistle that stops play. Both coaches walking toward the scorer's table, and now we see why. Get some moisture off the court, and that young man will get a rousing cheer.
Way to work, young fella. Get it all up. Don't miss a spot. You got yourself on TV here. Good work.
Almost looks like the old Globetrotter trick. Every time he's got it cleaned off, you just throw a little more off your brow down there. 4:52 on a turning first half clock, a 5-point lead.
Florida State showing us a little zone now, Mike.
Collins and Capel both like the look of that.
Exactly. I was thinking the same thing.
Nice dish by Capel. Domzowski tries to go under the bucket, can't hit it, and it's out of bounds to the Seminoles. Everything went right except the basket.
Well, again, that's an example of keeping it simple. You see, Chris Collins said, dunk it. Throw it down. Don't finesse it. You're open. Turn this thing over, big fella. See, he made an easy shot difficult.
Duke just not able to get its inside game going as yet. And they're hurt now because Newton is on the bench with 3 persons. Lewis short with the jumper right through the hands of Price and out of bounds. Corey Lewis extending his range a little bit.
You look at Ricky Price, who is struggling, has great potential, but he's an upbeat young man. I talked to him earlier today, and he's just continuing to work and smile all the same while he's growing as a player.
Capel picks up that person trying to stop the layup and does. It's his second.
Well, Lewis shakes loose, and then Capel gets double harm there. He fouls, picks up a foul, has contact with Lewis, then bumps into a teammate.
Domzowski got him pretty good from the back. They said last year Corey Lewis needed to get stronger because he got more tired as the season wore along. And as Clark mentioned, he's a young man still growing into that body.
And that's a good point you make. See, strength isn't so much how you look and how much weight you have. It's the ability to push and shove and hold your ground, but it's also about endurance and stamina over the course of a very intense season.
Missed them both. Contact, ball knocked out of bounds out to Duke. Pat Kennedy did not like that call. Said my man got ridden out of there. That should have been a foul. Duke with a chance to cut into a 5-point lead. Price for 3. Rimmed down on a long rebound to Collins. Wojciechowski in there now really going with a 3-guard, 1 wing, and 1 big man lineup.
Florida State continues to sit back in the zone, daring Duke to knock down 3.
They may have dared him one too many times. The lead down to 2. Capel has 8. They'll stay in it until they force him out of it, though. Greer against the pesky Wojciechowski, and he uses his height advantage in the lane.
Too big for him.
First 2 points of the night for Lamar Greer, who averages nearly 11. Capel, long 3. Another long rebound, tipped by Collins, saves it. Good play to Wojciechowski. He goes down. Great save by Duke, and then they throw it away. Price knocked it off his knee. Had the easy layup after all that hustle. 4-point lead for the Seminoles. enjoyed himself. Lee Corso looked like, hey, I'm getting paid again, and I'm going to get real serious about this.
Yeah, you take a look at the shooting, and this points out the fact that Duke is primarily a team without much inside game, so they rely an awful lot on the three. Florida State, on the other hand, can be much more selective in when they shoot the three.
Wojciechowski with the steal and then draws the foul from Greer. As long as Wojo can keep from being posted up the lane, he's all right.
Exactly. And he's tenacious. He's right up in the chest of Greer. There you see the foul. Grabbed by Greer after he had turned it over.
Wojciechowski goes to the line averaging only 3.5 points a game. An exceptional free throw shooter. So 16 of 19. Misses that one, however. Tipped outside. Wojciechowski trying to save it. Collins does. Duke is scrapping.
Oh, yeah, they're giving a great effort. No question.
And this foul inside will go against the Blue Devils.
Foul number 41, Matt Christensen, his first.
Matt Christensen picks up the personal. That's his first. Christensen, a freshman out of Belmont, Massachusetts, who they didn't expect even to play this year.
Here you see him. He got that chicken wing out, trying to get position inside.
Big wing.
Yeah, it is.
Florida State on the season, not a good free throw shooting team, even worse tonight. The lead's back to 5.
This is my first time seeing Florida State, and people told me I would like Randall Jackson there. They're exactly right. Live body.
I think like may be an underestimation.
Yeah.
5-point lead under 3 minutes to go first half. Most of Duke's game has been from the perimeter.
Yeah, and it surprises me that Pat Kennedy would go to the zone when his man-to-man D looked like it was giving Duke some problems.
Because of that. I mean, that is their strength, and you sort of invite them into the heart of their game. 33-31. Collins now has 10. He's hit 3 from long range. Jackson lost it on the way up. Wojciechowski is then pushed by Jackson out of bounds.
Well, I think Wojciechowski, although he made a great effort defensively, I think he got away with the walk before the contact. Let's see. Good hands. Catches it. Maybe not. He almost looked like he may have taken a little bunny rabbit hop. But good work by Steve Wojciechowski. He's been all over the place, giving up the body and playing good, solid D.
Both coaches continue to rotate their players. Shepard comes back in for Pat Kennedy. Wojciechowski will come out. Christensen will come out. Domzowski comes back in.
Number 12.
Now Wojo had just gone toward the bench. He will shoot the free throws. The lead is only 2. A chance to tie. He's missed his only attempt tonight. He's missed his only 2. This is the front end of 1-and-1s.
Duke had been shooting the ball well from the line in conference play. Not so tonight.
Go for the double team out here. Luckman low against Domzowski.
Nice job. Oh, that was a good move by Luckman.
Got it back. Crowd wanted to walk. Mike Krzyzewski explodes off the bench. Also wanted an offensive foul. They won't get either.
What I liked about that move was that he turned and faced his defender, Mike. And then he got inside and then just stayed with him.
The improvement in his game is just tremendous.
Yeah, it's off the charts. You can't even measure. Unchartable.
Collins has hit 3 from long range. They've got him on one wing, Capel on the other, Wallace in the corner. Cross court to Capel. Collins free again. Got it. He's hit 2 in a row and 4 on the night.
Good spacing and ball movement. It just makes it tough for those wing guys to get all the way down into that corner out of the zone.
And James Collins came up limping after that play. Chris Collins has now hit 4 out of 6 field goal attempts tonight. Shepard. Tip follow won't go. Wojciechowski with the save. Duke with a chance to take the lead. And Collins is limping badly on that ankle. Here's the alley-oop. Domzowski got it the second time. Shepard knocked it away.
Number 41, Jeff Brower.
Brower will check in, and Collins
Florida State.
will come out. Delta Faucet halftime report coming up. Yes, sir. More Saturday surprises. Carolina goes down and goes down big as Capel hits a three. And Duke has taken the lead 37-35.
You know, you mentioned earlier, Mike, that Coach K had talked about his players accepting who they are. Well, the last few possessions, they've shown us that they're a three-point shooting team.
Yes,
I mean, that's the strength of this team, and they've knocked down, I think, 3 in a row now.
Duke has a lead for the first time since 15:40 was on the clock. It was 12-9. Shepard at the line, way short on the free throw. Shepard hitting only 53% of his free throws this year.
Hey, he comes from a good basketball family. His dad and Uncle Billy and David both played. Billy played in the NBA.
They were both
ABA, rather.
Mr. Basketball in Indiana.
And Duke hasn't shown the ability really to penetrate a lot. Maybe Coach Kennedy thought they were getting hurt on some penetration when Duke was spreading them out.
Duke by a point. It's about a 9-second differential between the shot clock and the game clock, so they can't hold for one. Capel spreads the floor. Starts the offense with 11 on the clock. Wheels into the lane. Missed the shot. Got a hand on the rebound. Wallace saves it.
Good job.
Duke can play for the last shot.
Good job to pull it out. He looked at the goal and decided, let's get the last shot.
Chris Collins. Domzowski with the offensive rebound. Wallace! And it counts. Duke with a big comeback here in the half takes a 39-36 lead with some real hustle underneath.
Well, this is just good work. Domzowski keeps it alive, and there's Wallace. Jackson left to block the shot. That left Wallace loose on the weak side.
39-36 at the half. Chris Collins with 13 leading Duke. Right now, let's go to Mike Tirico. Michael?
Mike and Clark, thank you. Florida State has never won at Cameron. They have a 3-point halftime deficit to make up. Coming up now, as always, it is the Delta Faucet halftime report, scores and highlights, an upset in East Lansing to tell you about. That's why they were happy. And the story of Marquette against Memphis is ahead.
Welcome back to Durham, North Carolina, where the Blue Devils of Duke have a 3-point lead over the Florida State Seminoles. Mike Patrick, Clark Kellogg, glad to have you back with us. Really a contrast in styles in the first half. Is probably as sharp a contrast as we've seen all year. Inside for Florida State, outside for Duke.
And that's pretty much what we expected. Florida State with the advantage inside, Duke with the ability to do work on the perimeter. Here, Kirk Luckman, who had a strong first half, gets to the cup, no go, and just stays with it. He had 7 boards in that first half. There's 1 of them and 2 of his 8 points. And then against the zone, which Florida State went to in the latter part of the first half, Duke showing you excellent spacing and ball movement, resulting in a long-distance tray by Chris Collins, and every basket he made was behind the 3-point line.
I think Duke had 4 straight 3-point field goals against that zone, and that's the key to the Duracell first half stats, is that Duke hit 7 of 17 3-point shots as opposed to only 2 3-pointers for Florida State. As you see, the Seminoles shooting much better, 50 to 36% in the first half, but that 3-point shooting kept them in there, and I would be sort of amazed, Clark, if Florida State comes out in the zone in the second half.
Yeah, I would be too, Mike, as you take a look at Duke making more 3-point shots than shots inside the arc. And something else that didn't show up in the stats there is that Duke was able to take 10 more shots at the hoop than Florida State, because Florida State had 13 turnovers compared to only 7 for Duke.
Going against a man-to-man as we open the second half. Newton with his 3 fouls back in there, leans into one, got the bucket and the foul. Luckman will pick up the personal, his second.
Foul is called on Florida State's number 32, Kurt Luckman, his second.
Looks like a call play here. They're just going right inside to Greg Newton. And the big fella goes to work. You catch it that deep, you're not looking to pass it. You catch it that deep in the paint, you should be thinking one thing, score.
He's working on the double-double, 8 points and 9 rebounds. Duke's biggest lead of the game, 42-36. Luckman gets it low against Newton, and he goes up, and
he got
down.
Good call.
And he did get hit.
Frank Scagliotta right on top of it. Excellent call. Heck, I heard that one up here, Mike.
Number 34.
The slap of the flesh.
And fortunately for Duke, the foul was picked up by Carmen Wallace and not Newton.
Nice bounce pass in there by Collins, and there's Wallace coming in with the hack.
Seminoles, number 32.
2 on Carmen Wallace.
2 shots.
Luckman with the miss.
Florida State only 8 of 14 free throws in that first half. We've noted how they've struggled from the line, and in close games,
And that's going to be a lane violation as Corey Lewis just walked right in there. Have to wonder what Corey Lewis was thinking.
That was one of those blank spots in your thinking process.
Those short naps are great, aren't they?
Yeah, his grounding wire got disconnected.
Now Mike Krzyzewski wants to know what's going on as the ball's going to go to Florida State. It's a double lane violation.
Oh, okay. Kind of like the offensive guy drawing the defensive player offsides in football.
Absolutely. The tip is good, 42-38. The lead down to 4. Price with a scoop shot. I think this foul is going to be on Corey Lewis.
Florida State foul, number 20, Lamar Greer.
Here you take a look. Here you look at Ricky Price getting his shoulder by Lamar Greer. And that's the kind of explosiveness he has.
2 shots.
Boy, you just would like to see the young man get some shots to go down and establish that consistency that he's striving to maintain.
Spins out on the first one. Price, if he can get his shot going, is a very, very valuable asset. As you've seen, he can slash to the basket. He's also got range on his shot. He's hit only 1 out of 7 field goals tonight, 2 out of 3 free throws. Now make it 3 out of 4, and the lead is back to 5, and that's the number of points that Price has on the night. James Collins back in there after he came up limping on what appeared to be a bad ankle in the first half. Collins really quick off his feet in that jumper. Newton with the rebound. Collins just pushes it ahead. Nice shot. And then he crashes into the photographers in the student body at the end of the bench. 45-38. Collins was in complete control on that run. Curry had to alter his shot because of Newton. And all at once, Duke looks far more intense than Florida State.
Well, that comeback they made to get the lead going into...
Oh, what a pass by Capel. Holy cow. And look at Newton. Newton prancing down like a drum major. What a feed by Capel. Pat Kennedy wants to talk about it. He can only wait 1:50 into the half to call a timeout. Great dish and the big jam. Duke with its biggest lead, 47-38.
In transition, nice feed there. Took a shot to the head with the camera. And then Greg Newton on the penetration by Capel. Capel, a room service dime, and Newton shows us the Canadian strut. The big fella getting into it a little bit.
Wouldn't want to see him run a mile, I don't think. Not with that stride. Duke has made everything in the second half. Florida State only 1 of 5. Right now, I think they could all run a mile in close to 4 minutes. The Blue Devils are pumped. for three to break the momentum. Can't do it. Luckman long rebound.
Good looking shot though. Well executed play.
Seminoles have to get some of that intensity back that they had early. That got them to the early lead. Luckman double team. Capel reached in and fouled him. 3 on Jeff Capel. Keep you updated on the scores, of course. Texas Tech with a big lead.
And they've got a solid player, Jason Sasser there. Vanderbilt on top right now.
Collins will try another three. Can't hit it. Ahead to Capel. Oh! Capel has 13. The lead has grown to 11. It looks like old times at Cameron Indoor Stadium.
A lot of energy.
They
and a lot of execution. Yep.
Greer leans into one. Rims out. Florida State has such a big advantage inside Clark, and they have become a perimeter team in the second half.
And they're getting pretty good looks, Mike, just not able to get them down. And Duke, perfect so far in their execution here in the second half.
Keep in mind, the Blue Devils have had big leads several times this year and squandered them. Right now, they're looking to drive a stake into the Seminoles' heart, and Capel, left alone, thought, what the heck, go ahead and shoot it. 51-38. Pat Kennedy wants another timeout. He is seeing his team sliced up here. He has taken 2 timeouts in the second half to try to quell a 12-2 run.
The long look. Collins to Capel. Throw it down, young fella.
Well, I can honestly say, with about 20 games available on the weekend, I don't get tired of watching.
Oh, I know you don't, and I enjoy it as well. Here you take a look what Duke has done to get this lead to double digits. They've made all their shots. Florida State only 1 of 7 so far this half.
And Newton, a silly foul there as he reached over the top trying to knock the pass away. That'll pick up his 4th. And Domzowski is up immediately.
Number 13, Taylor Domzowski into the lineup for Newton.
This is one of those fouls that you don't like to commit. You forced him off the block. Just let him catch it and then play good, solid position deep.
Gone ice cold like the rest of his Seminole teammates here in the second half.
Ricky Price doing a pretty good job of shadowing Collins and making it tough for him to get good looks.
Clear that side for Wallace, trying to get some penetration. Kicks it back to Price for 3. Got it! They are on fire and now lead by 16.
Well, they've really done a nice job here getting high-quality shots in transition off the turnover. Mark this one up.
Make it 18. Duke has always had a player like a Wallace who can ignite a crowd with a great athletic play, and that's what this club really needs.
He gives it to him. Just stepped in the passing lane there. And the point you made a while ago about Florida State's intensity, they've been on their heels the whole half here in the first 4 minutes.
Wallace, as Duke is on a 17-2 run. 17-2 run, has used all of its full timeouts in a 2.5-minute span in the second half. And I tell you what, I agree with Pat Kennedy doing that. Got to try to do anything he can to stop this, but it hasn't worked yet. Greer back the other way, into the lane, draws a foul.
Well, the one thing that Florida State can do with Newton out of the game with 4 fouls, that's the 4th team foul now for Duke. If Florida State can continue to pound it in and get into the bonus early, even though they're not a very good free throw shooting team, they could at least have a chance to get points with the clock stopped and try to chip away at it.
At least go for volume.
Yeah, right. There you go.
Jackson inside the Luckman. Luckman scores and is fouled by Domzowski. That's 1 on Domzowski.
What a nice move, though. Did you see Luckman take away the space once he caught it, knew he was going to get contact, and then had the concentration to finish it. Now, on the catch, now, see, he's going to find the defender right here. See, felt him and then went right up into him, looking for the 3-point opportunity.
This is what surprised me at the start of the second half with that advantage they do have inside. They seem to abandon that and go for some quick outside shots. makes a miss, and perhaps another lane violation, maybe against Domzowski.
Lane violation.
Pat Kennedy, after back-to-back poor seasons. Clark mentioned the talent level on this team. Pat very comfortable with these kids and was looking forward to a great year, but he can't afford to lose this one. It would drop him to 2-3 in the ACC after 5 games. The way Duke has struggled, you got to come in here and beat him.
Yeah, no question. When you go on the road, you have to take games, Mike. You're not going to get games on the road. You got to go in there and earn them. And the point I was about to make, Florida State came back against Wake Forest, I think, down 19.
Absolutely. Collins after the steal. It's a 3-on-2 break, and Greer converts. Here come the Seminoles, 56-43. Greer has 4. They made a tremendous comeback against Wake, only to lose in overtime.
Right. And see, when you've done that before, you're confident you can do it again.
Nice dish by Wallace to Domzowski. He draws the foul. Once again, the big guy didn't go up strong. He went under the basket.
He's looking for that reverse layup. I'm sure Coach K and his teammates will let him know that he can maybe make it easier on himself if he stays on the same side of the goal that he catches the ball on. So he goes up with power here. But a lot of guys want to avoid the shot block. And that's not the posture you want to take. You want to go in there and be physical and aggressive looking to get to the free throw line.
Hey, if you're 6'10", 245, you got to believe people aren't going to block it, right?
Exactly.
Domzowski hits both free throws. He's 4 for 4 tonight, 26 out of 30 on the season. So he likes to draw those fouls. It's almost automatic. 58-43.
Boy, look at him and Luckman getting to know each other in there.
Greer cut off at the baseline. Excellent defense by Duke. Ahead to Price. They've made everything in the second half.
Well, they've gotten good looks. In their half-court game, they've gotten stuff close to the goal, and then they've converted turnovers for fast break opportunities.
Collins, the defense just disappeared that time. Collins had a clear path down the baseline.
Nobody knew where the ball was.
Collins has 11, but Duke has hit all 8 shots in the second half. Pretty tough to come back on a team that really won't miss.
That's right. You got to come up with some stops. Still an awful lot of time, though.
Shot clock at 14. Capel calling out what he wants. Trying to get a screen for Collins. Instead, down to Domzowski against Luck, and he scores. 9 out of 9 for the Blue Devils. Luckman and Domzowski really banged each other. Here's Jackson, and I think Domzowski will get the foul on this one.
Fouls on Gibson. Number 13.
And he does. Hits his second.
Florida State doing what they need to do offensively, but again, they've got to be able to come up with some stops. Here's Jackson fading away. And Domzowski didn't seem to make an awful lot of contact. Actually looked more like a foul than maybe it was, at least from that angle.
Now here's the move by Mike Krzyzewski. He's going to put Newton back in the game to give Domzowski a breather, and Newton has 4 personals. We saw earlier in the game Matt Christensen came in for a few seconds to give both the big guys a breather. But that's it as far as big men for Duke, and the miss at the free throw line by Randall Jackson.
Well, Newton, an upperclassman, you would expect him to hope that he would be able to play some time despite having a 4 foul, just by being smart and staying out of vulnerable position.
Jackson hits the second. The lead cut to 16, 13-24 and counting. Collins had a big first half with 13 points. He and Capel combined for 24. This is Capel. Nice dish to Wallace. Blocked. Corey Lewis got a great piece of it. Collins was there too. Lewis back the other way. Capel with a steal. Collins took it from him.
That's a great play by James Collins after he turned it over.
James Collins.
Collins shows you why he was one of the top recruits coming out of high school. Out of Jacksonville, Florida, he has 13 points.
Good hands here, just staying active. And he gets the good dribble drive and finishes it off.
He retired his high school jersey in Jacksonville. More than likely, when he finishes at Florida State, they'll retire this one.
Yeah, I think he plays at the next level. He's only a junior, only a sophomore. Continued improvement, a little more strength.
Capel aggressively down the lane, gets that turnaround jumper short. Shepard in. Quickly down to Collins. Knifes between two defenders. Newton nearly tipped it in. Then tried to save it. Knocked out of bounds by Florida State. Wojciechowski will check in, and Collins will get a breather.
I really think this was the guy who was the catalyst in that late first half run for Duke. Wojciechowski, he didn't score a lot, but he was everywhere defensively. Came up with a couple of plays to keep balls alive and really kind of energized the club as they went into the break at the half.
Excellent point. 12-10 to go in the game. The lead 14. A very intense young man.
That is a mild understatement. He's wound pretty tight. In a good way.
7 on the shot clock. Newton, and he's fouled. Jackson will pick up his third personal as Newton went to the hole strong.
Nice curl move. See, the curl by Capel is what allowed Newton to get open after he had set the screen. See, oftentimes the guy who sets the screen is the one that's going to get open. And then Strong to the cup. And Newton will get himself 2 free throws. Good cut, though, by Jeff Capel to create that lane inside for Greg Newton.
3 out of 4 from the line for Newton. 11 points, 5 rebounds. Really, it's very close to a season's average. We have 11:55 to go in the game. It's the second free throw. Duke's lead is back to 16. We've got a timeout with 11 minutes and 55 seconds to go for Durham. The Blue Devils trying to win their second ACC game in a row and put FSU under 500. Duke with a 16-point lead with 11:55 to go in the ball game. We're at Durham, and here's the dollar rental car storyline. Florida State 15 turnovers tonight. James Collins has hit only 1 of 6 of his three-point tries, still has 13 points. And the Blue Devils have hit 9 of 11 field goals in the second half. The starting guards have combined for 31. Collins has 16. Capel has 15. And they've been tough from outside.
Since Florida State can make a run, the next foul sends Duke over the limit, and Florida State shoots free throws. And they need Collins to get going offensively, and I think they can hurt Duke inside if they'll just be patient and throw it in there.
Get it into Lewis against Newton, and he walked.
Sometimes I think when you are so demonstrative with your upper body, it leads the officials to believe that you've moved your feet. And a lot of times guys haven't. But officials are human, and on occasion they'll get locked into what looks like a travel instead of locking into the player's feet.
You know, when you were playing, you didn't say they were human.
Oh, yeah, I did. One of those cordial guys on the court with the official. Now, with the opposition, that was another story.
64-48. Duke taking a little time off the play clock. Here's Capel. He'll have to create it himself. Likes that hanger in the lane. 66-48. Jeff Capel with 17 points.
He's excellent when he can get in that lane because he's strong. 6'3", 6'4", 200 pounds. Puts his body on you and can create space in there.
If the Seminoles are going to have that run, they need to start. We're down to 10 minutes and 37 seconds to go. They're down by 18. Lewis got the bounce.
By Corey Lewis.
Corey Lewis, who averages 9.5 points a game, has 7.
When you're down by double digits at this juncture in the game, you've got to do it in seconds. You know, it's kind of like keeping a diary, Mike. You want to do a little bit at a time. You know, you don't want to get a little bit at a time. Do it in pieces. Nice move here by Jeff Capel. He likes to go left. And sometimes he gets in trouble because he tries to shoot it with his left hand. He shoots those running one-handed lefties. And Coach K likes to see him shoot it with the right hand more.
Then after that, he makes a turnover. Here's Wojciechowski trying for a steal, knocking it away from Shepard. And note the scores coming up as Vanderbilt with a win over Evansville. We'll update you on everything that's gone on tonight, as well as the day's earlier scores. And, of course, Sports Center comes up after that. They'll have all the scores and highlights. Lead is 16 as we approach 10 minutes. Avery Curry against Chris Collins. This is James Collins. He's brought man-to-man by Capel.
Yeah, Duke's been able to put Price on Collins and Capel now, so a different look. Both have done a pretty good job on it.
Shepard got away from Wojciechowski, but misses the three. Asked the official why no foul. Newton had broken free, but Capel either didn't see him or didn't want to risk the pass. Wojo. Chris Collins has had that one layup in the second half. Here's Newton from 14 feet. Newton has 14 points and 5 rebounds on the night. The lead back to 18. Just no spark in the Seminoles, Clark. Here's Jackson, tries a three. Newton with another rebound.
But when a team comes out of the locker room and makes their first 8, that can negate any spark you might have.
Yeah, it sort of throws a little water on your campfire, doesn't it?
Yes, sir. Now they're able to spread you out and put you in a real tough position.
What do you think of this move? We're only under 9 minutes. Is this too early, possibly?
Maybe, but again, Duke, because their guys are good on the perimeter with the spacing and the good shooting they've been able to show.
Capel with a miss, and this is going to be a travel after Florida State's rebound back to the Blue Devils.
Ricky Price and
in the second half, this guy's been a factor in the paint, Mike. Greg Newton, now he catches this intent on shooting it right away. I mean, when a guy catches it like that and turns, you know he wants to look right at the goal, and that was a well-executed play and a good aggressive shot by Newton.
Duke trying to work on the shot clock. Each possession, they have it under 8.5 minutes now. Wojo nearly lost that one. Talking to Mike Krzyzewski, and the ball came whistling right at him. Price tried to reverse layup on the baseline. Domzalski got the bucket and the foul. It's now up to 20.
That guy loves it.
Number 20, Lamar Greer, his third.
He gets the baseline, shoehorns himself along the baseline, gets it up on the rack. And because help came, Domzalski loose on the offensive glass and gets the hoop and the horn.
Foul was on Lamar Greer, his third. Domzalski has done a nice job off the bench tonight. Give him 11 points, 5 for 5 from the free throw line, and 5 rebounds.
You know, one thing we didn't mention, Wallace has started now the last 2 games, counting tonight. And what it gives Coach K is a little more athletic presence and a little more defense on the floor to start the game. And then you bring in a guy like Domzalski, who's big and aggressive and can make a good contribution inside for you.
Look at the bodies on the floor. I mean, the one thing Mike Krzyzewski has always been able to do, regardless of the level of talent on his Blue Devil team, is they will go out and break bones for him. They'll do anything they have to try to win a ball game, and right now they're on the verge of winning their 2nd straight in the ACC.
Well, he's demanding, and yet he relates well to his players, so they know what's expected. And he keeps their feet to the fire in terms of meeting his demands.
Lamar Greer with maybe the easiest turnover he will ever have in his career. 7:37. I think what Mike Krzyzewski's trying to do here is to ensure that one of those big leads doesn't evaporate for a change.
Well, they've got it all going on right now, Mike. Good spacing, perimeter shooting. Newton's got a presence inside.
That should count for 3.5. Capel has 20, and the lead is 24 points.
How did we get to this point? It was a 2-point game at the half, a 1 or 2 point game?
Seminoles had the lead most of the first half.
It's a 3-point game at the half, and we're expecting one to be tight all the way. And all of a sudden, Duke just blows it wide open.
Greer in and out. Domzalski creates the tie-up, and the possession arrow gives it to Duke.
There's no defense for this, Mike. When a guy pulls up between the half-court circle and 5 feet behind the 3-point line, you just got to concede to him that he's made a great shot.
Florida State has never won here. It appears likely they're not going to win this year. Down 24 under 7 minutes to go. And this would have to be considered the best game of the year in the ACC, certainly for the Blue Devils.
On the heels of their best shooting game in their one-point win the other night.
The last 8 minutes of the first half, the first 14 minutes of this half, they've been sensational. Here's Wojciechowski. He's being held. And the foul will go against Curry. That's his third.
On number 11, Avery Curry, his third personal foul, 6 on the team.
I mean, you try to explain this and break it down. Why is Duke able to come out and explode and break this game open? Part of it is the turnovers. There you see Florida State had come in taking good care of the ball. 18 certainly doesn't help your cause. But Duke has just been clicking offensively.
A lot of people thought this was going to be the year for the Seminoles after 2 down years in a row. They have not been ranked since the end of the 92-93 season. And right now it looks like they'll lose their third in 5 games in the ACC. Price slices down the lane. He really skied over the defense that time. 12 for Ricky Price.
Oh, it's got to feel good for him to make plays like that. He's done it, but not consistently.
That's right.
And he's shown people flashes and flashes. And in this new type of system where they're creating more space for him, he could be really dangerous as he gets confidence along with his teammates gaining confidence. That's a good offensive play there, folks. Strong step and a good finish.
The Blue Devils huddling around Mike Krzyzewski with their biggest lead, 76-50. They're nearly pitching a shutout against Florida State in the second half. And if you watch the North Carolina-Villanova game, sometimes when it starts going, it just goes like a flood. There's nothing you can do to stop it.
It's hard to explain. Momentum is kind of a funny thing. You know, it's kind of like trying to explain to your 4- or 5-year-old kid that even though a dime is smaller than a nickel, it's worth more, even though in size it's smaller. Well, that's the same thing with momentum. I mean, it's hard to explain sometimes. Well, shooting, obviously a big part of it. Duke been able to get high percentage shots and make them. They made their first 8 of the half. And Florida State never able to really mount any kind of serious challenge defensively.
78% shooting for the Blue Devils in the second half, and they are up 26 and just working on the clock. This would raise Duke's record to 2-4, and I tell you what, if Price and Wallace are going to play this well at the wings, you better not count Duke out of this thing before the season's over. Collins for 3. Won't go. Wojciechowski with the save. Oh, what a play. They're enjoying this one.
Well, it's got to feel good because they've been so close. They broke through in the North Carolina State game. Here you take a look. Wojciechowski just won't give up on it. And then gets it off Curry.
Now that shows you something too. You're up 26 points, and he's going to go leaping into the stands to save a loose ball.
Well, you always want to try to play against the game. I mean, at some point, you realize the score and time becomes a factor, but most of the time you want to try to play the way you're going to play all the time, irregardless of the score.
Price tries to dish it off to Cable, but it's picked off. Nice anticipation by Randall Jackson. Seminoles going to have to go home and regroup. They will next face North Carolina. Not much time to get well. Collins for 3. Just hasn't had a shooting touch in the second half. That's Jackson with the follow. Jackson has 11.
Well, you know, Mike, in this league, this can happen on any given night to any team. As you look at Collins on the 3 attempt, and then Jackson. I don't know if that was out of the rack or not, but still looked good. I like that young fella.
That was some serious rise there by Jackson.
Yeah, he's got some yeast in those shoes.
Price kicks it back to Wojo. Collins in no hurry to jack up the shot.
I mean, you think about the balance in this league, Mike. They're only in the early part of, well, mid-January now. Still more than half of the conference games left.
It is a little scary. There
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
You just don't know who's going to have the great ball club. Here's another follow by Randall Jackson. Starting to work its way out. You knew Wake was going to be good. Carolina, to a lot of people, surprisingly good. Georgia Tech is coming on strong. They could be wicked before it's over.
Oh, yeah. They've got tremendous firepower.
Price misses a three.
I think North Carolina State may be a little better than their record shows right now.
Well, they've been the big disappointment, I think, to me. Them and Virginia. I just can't believe Virginia can't score. Collins, and he'll draw the foul with 3:29 left. Take a look at the ACC standings. Wake Forest lost that only game of the year to Massachusetts. Duncan and Peral did not play well in that game particularly. North Carolina 4-1 in the conference. Their only loss was against Georgia Tech. Clemson has found reality now that we've gone to the conference season. You see Florida State at 2-2, soon to be 2-3. Maryland is a crushing disappointment. Even with the loss of Joe Smith, you figured they'd be better than this, and may well be before the season is over. A lot of these teams, Clark, are still looking for an identity, trying to get younger players in there in the mix.
Great point, Mike. And even in the case of Maryland, although they have experienced players, they still have to adjust to playing a different way. And sometimes when you've got all seniors, it's sometimes hard to keep all those guys on the same page. Different thoughts about maybe the next level and what they need to do. So that's something I think Gary Williams may be dealing with as well.
Well, he got a big game out of Obina Kesey today.
Oh, I like him.
This may be the young man who's only played organized basketball for 3 years that may be the savior inside for Maryland before it's over.
Yeah, he's got a bright future. Good hands, good big body, and he's eager to learn. I mean, he wants to get better.
Lead here is 23. Duke just milking the clock, and the fans are enjoying every tick of it. Collins, Wallace, oh, what a play to just get a hand on it. Knocks it out of bounds to the Seminole. And Mike Krzyzewski doesn't want things to get sloppy here. Calls a timeout with 3:03 left. We'll be back for the final 3:03 from Cameron Indoor right after this. Stay with us. 3 seconds left from Duke, where the Blue Devils are on cruise control, 77-54 over Florida State. The Seminoles led this game 35-32 with a minute and a half to go in the first half. Since then, they have been crushed by Mike Krzyzewski and company.
Steamrolled, blitzkrieg, drum. You choose your adjective, but it's been a very impressive showing by Duke.
Randall Jackson can't handle the pass down at the corner of the lane. Capel wheels into the lane, missed the shot. James Collins with another rebound. Very good rebound for 6'4" wingman.
But he was shaken up earlier, I think, late in the first half.
Yes, ankle.
That's clearly no excuse, but I don't think he's had the explosiveness that he showed earlier.
Curry switched to the left hand, went down the lane. Pretty play there, 77-56. Curry with 7 points. Averages almost 9 a game. Well officiated game by Frank Scagliano, Rick Hartzell, and Steve Gordon. Good crew tonight.
Top notch.
Newton, who's been in there with 4 fouls and done a nice job. And he'll draw the foul from Tim Wooden, the young man from Hempstead, New York, who had been academically ineligible and has just rejoined the team of late. Big Monday presented by Bud Light. St. John's and Seton Hall will start you off at 7:30. Then we'll go out to Kansas, where Jacques Vaughn, one of the great players in the country, will lead the Jayhawks against Oklahoma. Then Long Beach State and New Mexico State. That's at midnight, and all comes your way on Big Monday, presented by Bud Light.
2 shots.
Newton at the line, hits the first. The outcome no longer in doubt, and Newton with 15 points. He's hit 5 out of 6 from the line.
Yeah, he's been very impressive, solid inside, and if they can get anything close to this kind of production from him on a consistent basis, then that helps Duke get better quickly.
Three-pointer by Tim Wooden.
Wooden hits the three, 79-59 as we hit a minute and a half. FSU going for the double team. Here's Wojo, shot clock down at 14.
Oh, Wojo, you got a shot there, buddy.
Fouls on number 24, Gentry Sparks, his first for Florida State.
Sports Center coming up next. Ben McDonald goes to the Brewers.
2 shots.
How about that? Carolina against Villanova. If you're a Tar Heel fan, you might not want to watch those highlights. Just send the kids out of the room.
Well, you look at that Villanova team, and you obviously start with Kerry Kittles, but I tell you what, Mike, Eric Ebert is probably one of the more undersung guys around the country.
He's got a great stroke.
His jump shot's like Jello, man. Soft and sweet.
I wondered what the rest of that was going to be. Christensen. I know you will. You just scare me sometimes. 58.3 seconds left to go. 81-59. The player in there wearing the odd number is Taman Domzowski, and here's Jeff Cable. Big night for him with the 20 points. I said to him before the game, I said, you guys are still playing hard. He's told, we'll always do that. Yeah. Ricky Price will get the big hand. 12 points, but he had more of an impact than that would indicate.
2 shots.
Hey, this is a good all-around performance by Duke, especially when you look at the last few minutes of the first half, and the second half was just splendid. They did it with hustle, grit, execution, and got contributions from everybody. Really put Florida State on their heels, I think, at the start of the second half with that strong display of execution and shooting.
Stan Brunson, the senior, hits a couple of free throws. It's 83-59. Florida State's record will now go to 0-6 at Cameron Indoor. Of course, this building and this Duke team has done that to a lot of clubs. Very, very tough place to win. Wojciechowski double team goes down really hard. Look at his hustle. And his team will just scrap right to the end, win, lose, or draw. It doesn't make any difference. They want the shot from Todd Singleton. Seminoles get the 3 from Jeff Brower.
And that kid has in the gym range.
Yes, he does.
He can stroke it from anywhere.
Second half, Duke, before that shot, had hit 88%. Excuse me, 61% of its field goals, 88% of its free throws. They have just been torching this place.
And they probably needed a game like this after all the close ones.
Right. Big win for the Blue Devils, 85-66. They will go to 11-6 overall, 2-4 in the ACC. Florida State falls to 10-5, 2-3 in the ACC. Once again, the final score from Cameron Indoor Stadium. Duke 85, Florida State 65. For all of the day's scores and highlights, stay tuned for Sports Center coming up next. For Clark Kellogg and our entire crew, this is Mike Patrick. Thanks for watching, everyone.